Hi everyone, I'm Enda Peoples. I'm the Regional Director of Business Development for Druid here in this region. And we're down here at ATX for the next 3 days, hoping for an exciting series of engagements with a lot of partners, friends new and old, and lots of new opportunities. Druid, we provide a software core for private cellular networks. So in layman's terms, if you understand that a carrier network, so the phone that you have in your pocket right now is connected to a public carrier network. And there are three essential elements. Basically, there's that phone, that handset, that device that you have. There's a radio, a cell tower, allowing signals to be traversed. And then there is a core, typically in a data center at your SoftBanks or British Telecoms or whoever. And that allows all of the routing and management and control. That allows you to send your text messages, allows you to access the internet, allows you to make calls and do all those basic functions. So that core technology, the software that does that, Druid have taken that and we have brought that down in IP networks so that now can be scaled down to very small, so it can be in a little tiny compute box like an Intel Nuke or something like that on your laptop. So we can now support smaller cellular networks for enterprises, be those several tens of individuals or devices or IoT devices, scaling right up through hundreds, through thousands, and in terms of some of our partnerships, through millions of IoT devices, and again up to types of scale, not in the millions of subscribers that the carrier networks have, but approaching that. Druid have been making significant investments in this region over the past decade and particularly within the last 5 years or so. And by investments we mean it's not just monetary, it's very, very much important personnel and people on the ground. So we now have people in Japan, we have a couple of people spread out all over the region. We have Taiwan, we have one person here recently installed in Singapore, is covering the ASEAN region, which we see as a very, very important market for us. And then we also have a representative covering Australia and New Zealand. For Druid as a company, the Asia Pacific region is a key center of growth for us, and we're looking across a whole range of technology verticals that we think are very, very important for us and for our partners, and that would include things like advanced manufacturing, so time-sensitive networking is a very key vertical for us. Non-terrestrial networks, so satellites again is something where we see a huge amount of growth within this region and globally as well, but Asia Pacific has a lot of potential. And then of course we have our traditional networks which will be focused on areas such as hospitals, healthcare, education, defense, local government and disaster backup. And when by disaster backup, unfortunately this is a region where there are lots of natural disasters that occur. To be ready for those, and Druid offers an opportunity to be prepared for that and to react in a positive fashion to those when they occur. This show is one of the key shows in the region, and we've always felt that, so it's important to be here and to have a presence, and it allows people to come and see us, you know, to understand who we are, to see our bona fides, and to allow us to progress. And why we're here, of course, we already have existing relationships within this greater region, but we are now looking at, okay, what else can we do? And we're expanding, as I mentioned earlier, into newer areas, so advanced manufacturing through things like time-sensitive networking is a growing area. Non-terrestrial networks is also a growing area. But again, there's a realization amongst a lot of enterprises and government and military customers as well that there are deficiencies inherent in solutions like Wi-Fi or in carrier networks, and how do they get out of that hole? One of the ways to do that is to use a solution like Druid software to enable private cellular networks and access their networks. And also then, crucially, the other two elements is to provide control. So data sovereignty and control are two elements that are very, very inimical to our solution. So you want your data, you don't necessarily want it traversing a consumer network. And also, it's a private network, so the public rules don't apply. In a public network, you can take your phone, you can do whatever you want, you can browse the internet, you can do YouTube, you can do whatever you like. In a private network, for enterprise, we want you to do your job, and we want you to do your job as well as you can do and how to optimize that, and that's a key focus. So control of what the users are doing, which sounds a little bit big brother, I will admit, is really crucial to this whole solution. The highlight of the show so far, I suppose, has been a lot of very deeply technical questions that are coming out of people. 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, a lot of interactions would have been, okay, what is a private cellular network, or how does that compare to Wi-Fi, or why would I not just use a public carrier network? We're much beyond that in terms of the evangelization of our product and our solution, to now people saying, okay, I know what a private network is, and here's what I'm thinking about doing. So they're much more fine-grained, much more detailed questions about, I have a small business, I have 50 employees, I would like to do the following, can I do it? What can I do using your network? Or what are the possibilities? Using that as a platform, I said, this is a starting point, what can I add on top of that? Because like the large mobile networks, a private cellular network brings challenge and opportunity in spades. So what are your challenges? Okay, now I need to be more secure here. Now I need to think about access, control, all of those things. And then what are the opportunities? Here are the things that I couldn't do using Wi-Fi, or here are the things that I cannot do so easily or so cost effectively using a carrier network, but I can with a private cellular network powered by Druid software.